Hello all. So today I'm going to discuss about cloud computing fundamentals. And I would also like to take an example of the service provider of cloud like Amazon as an example of the features that has been provided by it. And this demo really covers only the fundamentals and an high level perspective what is cloud. So in the later half of the sessions, I would be covering and quick demo of the services what it provides. So as of now, let's get started with the fundamentals. So before explaining or discussing about cloud computing, let's get started with what are the on-premises services that generally we are using from past few decades. So here we have some on-premises components as we know, as we have been using from past some time. So the on-premises might be a data center where we would partition our the resource as per the resources in the sense employees available within the organization. Take an example of on-premises virtualization where the data or the hard drive or the RAM present on premises within the data center is partitioned and distributed to the employees within the organization. So, okay, let's discuss about the data center and its maintenance or the prerequisites that are needed. So, in a diagram here in the slide, I would like to show you like there are some constraints to maintain the data center. So as we know, we have been seeing, we have many teams within our organization like security team, connectivity or networking team, server management team, storage, and facilities that provides all these. And connectivity and networking might be coming, or cabling might be coming under the same branch where it would be networking. So for all these services to work means are needed to make this on-premises data centers or the servers to be live working. So without any of these, it would be an difficult task to maintain the services. So to maintain all the services, there would be a maintenance cost, and there would be an resource needed for each of the services to work on. So we need an expertise person to maintain all the services that are listed here. So isn't it an little cost thing, cost paying thing? What we say? What do you say, guys? So I don't tell like okay, only the cloud is only the good thing, because from the past 2 or 3 decades we are working on these on premises, and you guys can say that why can't it work. It can work, but these are the constraints. As the world is moving on, there would be low cost maintenance when we go to the cloud services. So let us discuss why cloud is being more cost effective compared to the on-premises. And before going to that, I would like to take an example of a bike where taking like suppose a person want to buy a bike or purchase or make his bike by himself. So he goes to the shop and he purchases all this wheel, alignment, seat, and the structure. So to assemble all these and to configure all the equipments that he has purchased, imagine how much time would have he taken to complete the process or make a final product out of this. And when you think relatively, time is equivalent to money, where when the time goes on increasing, the maintenance and the maintenance cost also goes on increasing, where which we really know that time is relatively equivalent to money. So instead of that, why don't a person go to a store and purchase a bike by himself, so that it would cost it would save his time, and you would really customize his bike by his own when due as per his requirements. So this really saves time, and he would get the results much faster. So isn't it a good pretty way? Okay, then let's get started with elastic computing, elastic cloud computing. So why do I'm calling it as elastic? Because it is flexible. So let's get an real-time scenario in which we have in our organization, we do have a capacity, like we need a capacity of 100 servers to maintain an application. So we do have that application. So and at certain time at phase 2, we have a huge requirement where the load is being much more, so that we need a requirement of much more other 200 servers. Yeah, we are good, and we purchased those 200 servers, and after a certain time at stage 3, the load has been tremendously decreased. So now the application is using only the 100 servers, and remaining other 100 servers are left free without any usage. Means the servers, in the sense I'm talking about the capacity, i.e. the hardware, the RAM. So keep it relative. And so the other 200 servers is waste of the resource. So this would be something like it is costing us, and we need to maintain those the 100 servers capacity that we aren't using to, like to give security, cooling, and the hardware maintenance should be made. So is it an cost costing thing, or isn't it a cost effective? And when it comes to cloud computing, we can auto scale it, or we can provision as per our requirement. So and in the cloud there are multiple options where we'll discuss in the later of how can we provision the instances, and how do we configure those, and the networking perspective. Okay. So let me cover about Amazon Web Services in this session as an example, as a service provider of cloud, as discussed prior. And here in Amazon Web Services are divided and partitioned into different regions, availability zones, edge locations. And here in the slide also you can see that a diagram where the regions and availability zones, and I'll cover about this GovCloud later on. So let's get started with regions. Regions are geographical locations which are based on the geographical locations, they are partitioned or mapped. Take an example of northeast, south, like Europe. So it's been divided into these some meaningful naming conventions. It's regions are just geographical locations. And availability zones. Availability zones are in which where the data centers reside. And edge locations. Edge locations are the locations where it provides specific services to the other availability zones. So take an example of edge locations. What are the services it provides? So the major service it provides is load balancers. So the example of this is like it's a specific service where it provides from a specific edge location. And talking about GovCloud. GovCloud are about for the government organizations which are isolated from these regions and available to zones where it has its own specific configurations and other cloud computing details. And the example of this cloud is US government, where Amazon is providing the security and the environment to the US government, where US government is literally using Amazon Web Services. Moving forward, let's discuss about Amazon security perspective, where security the Amazon is secure in the sense it has a key pair authentication when accessing the server, and whenever it's been accessed via VPN, there could be we can configure to bypass the key pair authentication. So to authenticate to the environment or the services that Amazon provides, it has an identity access management, which is generally called IAM, to provide or manage the users who would access the services, which we call it as IAM. So it has multi-factor authentication, and it has access to the all the Amazon Web Services, the resources it provides like instances, storage. So we can provide all those resources and access whether a user would should be able to connect to this resource or not, or would be having control to the resource or not. And about Amazon storage. So here in AWS storage perspective, we have around four storage phenomenals. First one, I'll discuss about the ephemeral storage. So here this generally when we talk about ephemeral, a dictionarial word, it is called temporary. And when it comes to AWS, it is an instance store. So this ephemeral storage comes with the instance. Whenever an instance is created, ephemeral storage gets created. And when we can tell, so we can't tell that for every instance an ephemeral storage gets created. So here while creating an instance, we select an AMI, Amazon Mission Image, where some of the images might be having ephemeral and others won't. So the instances which are not having ephemeral might be having elastic block storage. And generally this it is a temporary block level storage with its EC2 instance as spoke, and it is a free storage within the EC2 instance, means it comes free of charge with the instance, where instance might be charged. And so how the data is maintained, or how the data would be persisted? As we spoke, it is in temporary storage. So whenever suppose if when server is restarted, the data is persisted. And in the second scenario, when the data when the server is restarted, when the server is stopped or terminated, the complete data is lost. And when it comes to service level agreement, means the service how it provides, there is no guarantee in ephemeral storage. And also the access speed is not at all guaranteed. And generally why how and for which purpose we can use this is for storing the cache data and buffers, and for idle replication, generally for replicated data for load balancers. The second one would be S3. So simple storage services, triple S, so S3. It's really cool service here. So let me talk about its features. It is internet accessible via HTTP and HTTPS, and S3 can call it as drive, but it's not a drive where it can't be mapped to an instance. And also we can store audio, video, and the other backup files, etc. But here thing is it has an unlimited bucket size. Then constants is in single object should not be more than 5 TB. Generally objects might not be more than 5 TB. It's as per a real scenario. And the pricing of this S3 would be on the storage it is used and the amount of data which is transferred out. And as I told, it's not a file system, it can be mapped to an instance. And the SLA, come on, this is the SLA of this is 99.99%. There won't be any like lag and all, or downtime and all. It's always available. So S3, as you can see, and think of S3 as a buckets, where in a pictorial way here, where we can store this data in the form of buckets. Elastic block storage. So it is not internet accessible, and it is often it is a persistent file system which can be attached to the EC2 instance, and it does not need to be attached to the EC2 instance if not needed, and it also can be transferred between the availability zones, and it supports incremental snapshots. This is really cool. Take an example, we used 5 GB and we want to take a backup. Okay, that's cool. We took a backup one, and okay, after a few days, after 10 days, we would like to take a backup of the complete backup. So we no need to take a complete backup. So we can take a backup between a interval time of the time we took a first backup from the first 10th day to other day. Between all 10 days we can take, it would be around 2 GB. So the concept here is like we are saving some storage for a snapshot, which would be incremental. So initially there would be 10 GB, then the other would be 3 GB, so complete 13 GB. So no need to take a complete backup of 13 GB. So this is one of the cool feature. And glaciers, this is really cool, and one of the useful service when the backup files are old, or the files are old, and if generally backups, we take backups of so instances or other services which can be stored in the glaciers. So here glaciers are used for storing old files or backed up files. About Amazon database services. So Amazon provides multiple database services where we can use multiple like RDS. You can see in this like I have a pictorial representation, and Lambda services, DynamoDB. There are much more services. So like we'll have a quick overview about the management console. what are the services it provides and what have we discussed. Let's go and quick view on it. Okay, thank you with this presentation. Now let's get some see what how it really includes. Let me make it window low. Sign into the console. Yes, one more note. Amazon provides 1 year of free account where you can sign up with using your. You need to have a credit card or debit card to do it. So I think see here you can see the recently visited services. So let's get to the management console. So you can click on this box here. This is called the console home, or if you want to go to the services you can click on this. So both are relatively same. So let's go to the console home. So here see you can have a view of EC2 instances. So all the services it provides: EC2 instance, EC2 containers as the containerization services, other services here. And coming to the storage, S3, EFS, Glacier, the gateway, the means how the storage is transferred. About the database, we have RDS, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, and Red Hat. And in the presentation, haven't discussed about networking. Here, networking plays a crucial role, where we have a concept called VPC. VPC is like virtual private cloud, which can be isolated from the other Amazon places. So it's an isolated network. VPC is virtual private cloud, which is an isolated network. And here it's a CloudFront. This is another different topic, and Direct Connect and Route 53. So here we also have some migration services, and for developers we have code deploy to deploy the code and build, commit other services. And coming to the management console, we have CloudWatch, where it keeps a watch on all the services that we have provisioned. And here we have security services, which is called identity access management and other services. There are analysis, artificial intelligence. There are much more services to cover on. So I'm wrapping up with this session. Thank you guys, and I would post my next video in the current description. I would post the link in the description below. Thank you guys. Please let me know if you have any queries. Thank you. Bye.